I found this old Honda on Craigslist. The 2-cylinder air-cooled engine, it ran great and the clutch was solid. For its age, the interior was also in really good condition. Unfortunately, the brake system, it needed lots of work, so it had to be towed home. The exterior, that's where this car needs the most work. The body, it's pretty straight, but it needs some rust repair like here on the cowl and a few other spots. I started by removing both the front and rear bumpers. Both were dented pretty bad. I'm replacing those bumpers with these reproduction units made for 67 to 69 Camaros. Sections were cut out to make the bumpers more narrow, and then they were re-welded back together. I also had to make some custom brackets so they could be re-bolted to the car. I think the rear bumper, it turned out great. But on the front bumper, I should have made a pie cut in the center, and then I could have angled the two halves back slightly in order to give it somewhat of a point in the center. The lower half of this driver's door, it was full of rust, so I drove 3 hours to B&B Auto, and that's where I was able to find this rust-free door. Next, the rust under the driver's side pop-out window was cut out. Then I used the old door to cut out a patch panel. And that patch panel, it was welded into place. You can see from the pictures, I also used that door for patch panels in quite a few other places. I'm throwing in this random picture of Fiat sun visors that I found on eBay. The spacing on the mounting brackets is exactly the same between the Fiat and Honda sun visors. To get ready for paint, I hooked up the hoist and I lowered the engine, the cradle, and the suspension all as one unit. And then I welded up this temporary cradle and added some jumbo-size pneumatic tires. This was done so the car can still be moved around easily and the engine bay could be painted. It was then loaded on a U-Haul trailer and sent to the paint shop. And a couple weeks later, the paint job is finished. The paint was done by Mako, and at this location, they did a pretty good job. The U-Haul trailer, it was a tight fit, so to be safe, I hired a flatbed truck to bring it home. I bought these 12-inch wheels on eBay, but later I found out that the stock lug nut seats were just too small for the wheel holes. To fix that problem, I bought these huge ARP studs and pressed them into the hubs and drums. Then the wheels got powder coated. These center caps with the Mini logo, I didn't use them, I found a replacement. I used these lowering blocks that were meant for a classic Chevy Bel Air. These were narrow like I needed, I just needed to trim off the extra length. For the front, I mailed off one of my springs to Coil Spring Specialties in Kansas. After they tested the original spring, they made me a set of lowering springs with a 2¼ inch drop. The front and rear glass, it was then reinstalled with new window seals. I also had the windows tinted while the car was being painted. I never could find an original mirror for this car, so I ended up using a mirror from an AMC Javelin or maybe a Gremlin. The bumper and grille, they came back from the chrome shop, so those got installed. For turn signals, I'm using these Peterbilt sidemarker lamps. They were LEDs, but I converted them back to standard bulb. I got these reproduction tail light lenses from Bill Colford in San Diego. They look great. A motorcycle muffler was welded to the backside. I used this 2-part resin and colored pigment to restore the emblem for the grille. And that's it. The car is done.